If you value hard-earned historical knowledge that still applies to real-world survival today, you're in the right place. On Battlefield of Survival, we focus on the overlooked skills that kept ordinary people alive when systems failed. If that matters to you, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment with your thoughts or family stories. Now, let's get straight to the facts. Food scraps were treated as raw materials, not waste. During the Great Depression, almost nothing edible was thrown away. Vegetable peels, bones and stale bread were stockpiled and reused with intent. Potato peels were fried into filling meals. Bones were boiled repeatedly to extract every calorie and mineral into soups and gravies. Bacon grease was saved in jars and reused as cooking fat for weeks. Today, this practice directly translates to modern preparedness. Saving fats, repurposing trimmings into broth, and extending food life through reuse can significantly reduce dependency on supply chains during shortages. Broken household items became sources of parts and tools. When something broke, families didn't replace it. They dismantled it. Radios were stripped for wire. Broken furniture provided nails, screws and usable wood. Tin cans were flattened and turned into roofing patches, baking trays or makeshift scoops. Glass jars were reused endlessly for food storage, hardware or candles. Applied today, this mindset trains you to see materials, not products. A broken appliance becomes a supply of fasteners, metal and wiring rather than landfill waste. Clothing waste was converted into insulation, tools and new garments. Worn-out clothes were never discarded outright. Wool coats became quilt batting. Cotton shirts were cut into cleaning rags, bandages or reusable napkins. Socks were unravelled to reuse the yarn. Feed sacks were turned into dresses, shirts and undergarments. For modern survivalists, this reinforces the value of textiles. Old clothing can insulate shelters, reinforce gear, filter water when layered properly, or be stitched into functional replacements long after stores are inaccessible. You know, paper trash wasn't just rubbish. It served as fuel, packaging, and even met hygiene needs. Newspapers, for example, became fuel, insulation, and wrapping material all in one. Folks would layer them into walls, stuff them into shoes for a bit of extra warmth, use them to start fires, and repurpose them as cleaning material. Cardboard didn't go to waste either. It became drawer liners and wind blocks, believe it or not. And even today, paper waste can still be used for emergency heating, temporary insulation, or as protective packaging for fragile supplies, without having to rely on manufactured alternatives. Children, back then, were taught reuse as a survival skill, not as some kind of moral lesson. Depression-era families made sure to train their children early on to recognize value in discarded items. Toys, for instance, were built from scrap wood and metal, and school supplies were reused until they were absolutely unusable. This wasn't poverty theatre, it was the passing down of vital skills. Teaching reuse today, honestly, builds problem-solving ability and resource awareness that no gear purchase can ever replace. The real lesson here, I'd say, was systems thinking, not just desperation. Families didn't survive by simply scavenging at random. Instead, they developed proper systems for collection, storage, repair, and reuse. Trash had categories, purposes, and even future plans. Applying this today means intentionally organizing scrap materials, storing reusable items, and, well, practicing repair skills before crisis conditions force the issue. If this kind of grounded, no-nonsense history matters to you, do subscribe to Battlefield of Survival, like the video, and share it with someone who values real-world preparedness. And, hey, leave a comment and tell us which of these practices you already use or plan to adopt.